Morning, grandkids. There's so much light over on this side, and yet I got my blinds shut to out on the patio, but it's still too bright. Okay, we're going on with the next episode of The Listener that I'm writing from my gameplay, The Listener, with a lot of stuff added. Oh, I didn't even spread these sheets out so I could get to them easily. Okay, here we go. Shadowmere and I started toward Vollenroad, where Motier had stashed my money. But we weren't in a hurry right now. We had left the jail in Whiterun in the early afternoon. Remember, I was picked up for killing Motier. And the day was fresh and mild, and I was enjoying it. I think Shadowmere was too. He knew I was in no hurry, and he would stop once in a while when he saw something tasty, or wanted to mess with a wolf, or something along the way. I knew that I had been gone long enough, and that Nazir and the others were probably getting worried about me by now, but what the heck? They'd get over it. I was wondering if wherever Motier's soul was at, if he even had one, could he be aware of how his dreamed-up plans had come apart? I was going to have his money. The Emperor was dead because he had wished to be, and Motier himself was left with nothing and dead. Thanks to me, I don't think his plans quite worked out. On that note, I had to start laughing. I leaned toward Shadowmere and said, "Let's fly now. The sooner we'll be home." He literally jumped ahead. His mane was flying back toward me, and his tail was lifted high and streaming out behind. We flew through the early evening and half-chilly night. We settled down outside Vollenrood, and I slid off his back and went on inside. I doubted that much had changed. Maybe a few bandits may have set up camp again inside, but I could handle that. But now I rushed through the place, clearing out whatever needed to be cleared out, until I came to the room where I had first met Motier and picked up his contract. I was thinking that if there wasn't any money, I'd go back and kill him all over again. I laughed at the ridiculousness of that and went across the room where I could see the urn. I took off the cap, and yes, there was the money. A lot of it. Say $20,000? Oh, yeah. I ran back outside and hopped onto Shadowmere, told him about how much money we had, as if he cared, and I started laughing again. He took off while I settled back, looking forward to getting to Dawnstar and back to Nazir. I could hardly wait to show him the money and talk about what all we could do to fix up the sanctuary and make it home for all of us. At Dawnstar, Shadowmere no longer had his mystical pool of water, and I was a little anxious, wondering what he would do. There was a clearing surrounded by trees and shrubs right by the doorway. I parked him in the middle of that small clearing and slid off his back. We looked at each other for a bit before I said, "This is your new home, my friend. We all live here now. You don't have your pool here like you had in Falkreath, so I don't know what will happen. I hope you can find your way back to your own reality from here." He kept his red eyes looking into mine while he started releasing his form into black wisps and wavering strings until he was almost gone, just his red eyes glowing, still looking at me. Then he started rematerializing again. He shook his mane and stamped his hoofs. I knew that he had let me know that everything was good with him. I had to laugh at him Then I hugged his neck and told him to take care of himself. Then I hurried inside to see Nazir. I made my way downstairs and looked around, spotting him near the two new recruits, showing them various things. I ran over to him and flung myself into his arms. I had never been so impetuous in my life. He hugged me tight, and we just stood there, holding each other. Finally, he leaned back from me. "I've been so worried. It's been quite a while, you know. You could have been dead for all I knew." He pulled me back into his arms again and murmured that he loved me and had missed me terribly. I lifted my lips to his in a deep, drawn-out kiss. "All right, you two," the Tsar said. "That's enough. Come and have something to eat and tell us all. Everything. Is the Emperor dead this time? The real one?" He started dishing up a huge plate of food, and my stomach started growling. I smiled up at those around me, people who had become my friends, my companions, and started telling them about what went on with me while I had been gone. "What word of the Emperor?" Nazir asked. "Is he really dead?" "He's dead," I told him, "and so is Motir." "You have stayed true to the Brotherhood," said Nazir, and he pulled me back into his arms. I leaned onto his shoulder for a bit, but another growl kicked up in my stomach, and I had to start eating again. They let me eat, but finally I was full and pushed my plate away. "It's going to be fun pulling this place together. I can hardly wait to see everything." "Well, we've mostly been doing a lot of cleaning up," Babette said. "And hiring some new people," Nazir said. "I've been chopping lots of wood for our fires," said Vizar. "It's more fun having you with us again, where you belong." Which brings up the next subject. I cocked my head at him and waited. "Has the Night Mother decided to send you out somewhere again?" asked Nazir. "Well, not yet, she hasn't. Maybe she doesn't know I'm back yet." I eased back and looked at everyone, smiling. "Guess what? What I've got for us." They all tried guessing, but of course they hadn't a clue. I laughed and said, 20,000 pieces of gold. Motir paid me 20,000. "He certainly made it worth your while," said Nazir. "He certainly did," I chuckled. Then I killed him. "Yay!" they all cheered. They all started going on about their own tasks, and Nazir turned to me and said, "Now may I give you some advice?" "Of course," I said. "You should go see Delvin Mallory at Riften. I believe Astrid had mentioned him before. He's a true obtainer of goods. We can use that money to repair and refit this sanctuary, make a true home for all of us." Right, I said as I started getting up. "I know I'm going to have to sleep a while first before I can do anything else. You go get some sleep, and I'll go see what I can do about getting some more recruits added to the family." Right then, the Night Mother called out to me, and I hurried off to where they had set up her crypt. I walked up to her, and she said, "The Emperor is dead, but our work goes on. Another child has prayed to the Mother. Approach me, listener. Hear my words. Speak with the scheming servant at the keep in Markarth. Accept his gold, then eliminate his target. So begins a contract in blood." I walked away wondering what in the world this contract was going to be about. Well, it was about killing, but what was the dire scheming behind this one? I'd probably never know. I usually didn't. My job is just to do, not to know why I'm doing it. I was so tired that while I was walking away from the Night Mother, I saw a bed, and not knowing even whose it was, I fell across it and floated into sleep. When I got up from a deep, exhausted sleep, I went in search of Nazir. He had been outside, directing the others in digging and preparing a proper grave for the kid. I know it's been a long time since his death, but I'm really thankful that they waited for me to get back to the sanctuary. When I found them, they were on a slight rise to the right, where I could imagine the kid could always watch the birds, the sea, the clouds, and all the ships. They had the grave prepared, and we brought out the kid's wrapped body in its box and set it on the ground. We placed ropes under the box, and we all gently lowered it into the ground. Before we covered it over with the mounded dirt, Nazir told him how thankful he was for always watching out for me and having my back. I knelt down beside his grave and laid a few flowers over on top of the box. I told him how much I had loved having him with me, and I started to cry. I don't think I've ever cried in my life until lately with this group of friends. I told the kid how much fun he had been and the pleasure that I had gotten just being around him. The others had been agreeing and murmuring, but then Babette started softly singing. I had never heard anything so lovely and tender. I cried all the more. Nazir came and helped me to my feet, and we all started back to the new sanctuary. It was just coming evening, and I had to stop and look at the sky. There was a pale pink glow showing low on the horizon, casting just a glimmer on the ripples in the water, the rocks, off the sides of the ships and masts. It was beautiful, and I knew the kid was enjoying it. Bazaar had gone inside and started fixing us all a little dinner, bless him. We trooped into the kitchen, sat down, and ate like we were starved. We each had things to remember and share about the kid and to laugh over, of course. He had been dear to all of us. After we ate and everyone started drifting off, Nazir asked me about my plans. I told him about the new job the night mother had for me to do. She wants me to go to Markarth, to the keep, and speak to someone called the scheming servant. I'm to accept his gold, then eliminate whatever target he tells me to. I guess it's a he. It could be a woman. I guess I'll find out when I get to Markarth. Then she said, "So begins a contract bound in blood." And then I gave him a tired smile and said, "Could you or some of the others see Mallory at the Ratway in Riverwood and start buying things that we need in order to fix up this place? While I'm taking care of these contracts, I still have that previous contract for that guy that's traveling with the Khajiits. I will send Lazir to the Ratway to take care of that. I think he could handle that okay. What else would you like me to do to help you?" Nazir replied. "Well," I said, "once Lazar gets back, you oversee everyone getting this place put in shape. Also, look over the people we have and pick out someone, an older member, to start helping me. I think that we're going to keep getting more and more contracts and that I'm going to need the help." "Okay," Nazir said. "Sounds like a good idea to me. I think I have a female in mind who would work well with you. I need Babette and Lazar around here." "All right, sounds good," I said. "I think I'm going to head toward Markarth, start working on a previous contract, and then take care of this new one, which will be there in the city." Nazir said, "Okay, I can handle everything around here, so don't be worrying about anything. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to be careful. I wish I could come with you, but I know I need to be here. After some time together, Nazir and I both got busy. I left, going outside to where Shadowmere was at. She seemed to be doing okay in her new home. Then I saw Cicero coming toward the entrance. "Hey," I said, "it's good to see you, Cicero." "Cicero has returned," he said happily, "to serve our dear mother and to be of whatever help I can be to you, dear listener." "Thank you," I said with a smile for him. "You will find that we have placed her in a nice area and fixed a nice room for you next door to her. I hope you will like it." "Oh, I'm sure I will, he gave a twirl and a giggle. "I'll go tend to Mother now," and off he danced. I still think he's a strange little man. Or maybe he's just gotten a little addled, taking care of a dead woman for so long. Oh well, I hopped onto Shadowmere and we were off. I decided to travel the roads from here at Dawnstar to Markarth and then find a cozy spot near there to hunker down and wait. I knew the Khajiit caravan, with whom my first target was riding, would be funneled into Markarth from whichever direction they came by crossing over the bridge outside the gates. I trekked down out of the North Mountains and was traveling along better roads when I saw a man traveling with one of those odd painted cows. I've never bothered to find out why they are painted or what the symbols mean. Besides that, I've only ever seen them with the giants. This was just a man dressed like a farmer. Why would he paint his cow this way? Oh well, nothing of my concern, and I still had road ahead of me. A few clouds were scattered across the blue sky, and I knew there would be a lovely sunset this evening. Of course, as always, when I'm relaxed and enjoying myself, something pops up to ruin things. I heard a bear off the road over in the forest not too far, growling and roaring and menacing someone. Never one to keep my nose to myself, I walked off the road into the trees, drawing my bow as I went. I don't know why I never just mind my own business. I saw the bear attacking two men and a woman. I could see the group was dressed in some kind of uniform. Soldiers, mercenaries, maybe bandits. I couldn't really tell, but right now they were in dire need of help. As I crept toward them, I let off 2 quick shots, then quickly circled around to the opposite side of their position. The bear was hit, but he raised up, confused, then plopped back down on his paws and started in my direction. Oh no, I started backing up as I was firing arrows at him, but it kept coming. I scrambled behind a tree, slinging my bow onto my back at the same time, and jumped up for a tree limb. I got up there and whipped my bow back into my hands and fired off another shot, right into his throat as he raised up on his back legs, looking up at me with lots of low growling. But that shot killed him, and he now lay at the base of the tree. I climbed down out of the tree, not surprised at seeing the people hiding behind some large boulders. People are people and always a disappointment, and I never expect much from them. The first thing I did was look toward Shadowmere to make sure that he was okay, then look to see what the 3 characters were going to do. I saw them approaching, and they didn't look all that friendly. They were kind of crouched with their knives still drawn and ready. Excuse me. One man stood up straight, slightly lowering his knife, and walked toward me, but with an unfriendly look in his eyes. Seeing that no one was putting their weapons away, I very slowly unsheathed my dagger. "Who are you?" the man asked gruffly. Does it matter? I asked. I just saved your ass from a bear, I quipped. Kinda got a smart mouth on you, don't you? He sneered. Yeah, I do, I said with a smile. I could tell this was going to end badly, even though I had only been trying to help. Trying to help keep someone alive, and now I could tell they were going to die anyway. What the heck? Just go ahead and do it. I slipped the dagger away and drew my sword in a single movement while letting fly 2 arrows. With his 2 partners now dead on the ground, I stood there, still and quiet, looking at him, waiting. I slapped the bow onto my back and drew my dagger with my right hand. He was standing there with his dagger in hand, looking at me. You still want to play with me? I asked. Come on then. And I motioned for him with my free hand. He couldn't tolerate that. He lunged at me with a grunt, his dagger raised in his right hand. Sorry, buddy. Wrong move, I said as I spun to my left, blocking his right arm and kicking him in the crotch. He screamed and grabbed himself as he dropped to his knees. I finished the job by thrusting my dagger under his chin, through his skull, and into his stupid brain. As he dropped, I wiped my blade on his shirt. I sauntered over to Shadowmere, putting my blade back into its sheath. Then I looked up at him, and his red eyes were on me. What? I shrugged. They never learn, so what am I supposed to do? I gave the dead bear a kick with a few grumbling mutters, then jumped onto Shadowmere's back, while he was just shaking his head. I think I saw an eye roll going on, too. I was almost at Markarth, and the evening was deepening. The orange and red streaks of the sun was low on the horizon, the stars popping out in the darkening sky overhead. I knew the Khajiits would have camped wherever they were, and I decided that I should do the same. I had gotten caught up into enough adventure by now anyway. I went off the road into the trees and just made a small sleeping camp against the foot of a mountainside, from where I could keep an eye on the Markarth bridge. I would sleep the night, but then stay here until my prey arrived. I had a cold meal, a bottle or 2 of mead, then got comfy in the bed, putting my hands behind my head. I stared up at the stars and, of course, started thinking about Nazir until my eyes closed and I drifted off to sleep. So that's that part of the story for today, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you guys, all my grandkids, next week. Bye-bye.